Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano. On today's program, we're going to learn all about the Torrey de Passeri Club here in Quincy. Just celebrated its 100th anniversary this past weekend. First, though, we do take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, the wind is the story really in the weather world. Quite brisk this afternoon with a mix of clouds and sun. Highs only in the mid-50s, feeling a lot cooler with that busy wind. Tonight, temperatures dip down to around 50 degrees. Tomorrow, we add some wet weather into the winds with some afternoon rain, still pretty gusty with highs tomorrow only in the upper 50s. Still a little damp here on Wednesday with showers and some brisk winds, highs Wednesday in the upper 50s. Look at the big change though on Thursday. It'll be becoming sunny and warmer. The high Thursday near 70 degrees and looks like sunshine in the low to mid 70s on Friday. Right now we have 54 degrees with clouds and wind here in Quincy. Checking the news for you today. Quincy voters who requested mail-in ballots for the November 8th state election will start to see those ballots showing up in their mailboxes soon. Quincy City Clerk Nicole Crispo says her staff will begin sending ballots out this week.
So the second round of mail-in voting cards went out last week from the Secretary of State's office. We're receiving them in daily now, and we're getting about 100 a day. Not as big as it was for the first mailing because a lot of those people already put in for September and November.
Oh, okay.
So if you didn't put in for September and November, you got another card in the mail. If you wish to use that card, by all means, fill it out, put it in the mail to us. We'll get your ballot out as soon as we get them. We're expecting the ballots probably late this week or early next week. So that being said, we're going to try to get out our ballots by late next week.
Okay.
All goes well, which I'm assuming it will. Once we get the ballot, we'll proofread the ballot and get those ballots out to folks that we have about 12,000 requests to vote by mail at this point.
Crispo says she has received over 12,000 requests for mail-in ballots so far and is processing them as they come in. Anyone who would like to request a mail-in ballot should do so by November 1st. Mail-in ballots are due at the city clerk's office by 8 p.m. on November 8th. There will be a ballot drop box located outside Quincy City Hall, and early voting will open on October 22nd at City Hall. National Grid continues work on their North Quincy cable replacement project this week. The utility company says its crews will be working along Newport Avenue between Willow Avenue and Lillian Road during the daytime hours, and on Newport Ave between Beale Street and Brook Street weeknights from 7:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. National Grid's Danielle Aretz says that every effort is being made to keep disruptions from the project to a minimum.
The best way to get that information is by signing up for the newsletter, which is on the project website, and we will be sharing that towards the end of the program. You can definitely sign up there. We also do canvass the neighborhoods prior to starting any construction. We're usually about a week to 2 weeks out ahead of construction starting in any areas, and we do leave notices on doors if you're not home when we do canvass the area. And then I do believe that we are also working with the various city departments, the DPW and the traffic engineering department in Quincy to identify working hours to be as least impactful as we possibly can, especially during commuting hours.
National Grid's replacing two 50-year-old underground cables that provide Quincy with all of its power. Those cables run from North Quincy under Newport Avenue, under Furnace Brook Parkway, under the Southern Artery up to the Field Street substation. Project is expected to be completed in late 2024. The restoration of the historic 85-year-old brick and granite wall that surrounds Veterans Memorial Stadium here in Quincy will continue through October. Workers are rebuilding and reinforcing sections of the wall and repointing other areas during the first phase of the restoration project. Money from the city's Community Preservation Fund is paying for the project. The wall was built in the late 30s as part of President Franklin Roosevelt's Works Progress Administration. The second phase of the project may involve the restoration of that walkway that connects the stadium with Hancock Street. Estimated 200 people gathered at St. Mary's Church and Cemetery in West Quincy this past Saturday to pay tribute to a Quincy police officer who was shot and killed in the line of duty 95 years ago. Alfred Hollis died while responding to a burglary call at a local hardware store in 1927. Hollis's grave was only marked with a small footstone. Recently, members of his family asked the Quincy police if a larger headstone could mark his grave instead. Quincy Police Chief Paul Keenan said the department was happy to oblige.
Officer Hollis made the ultimate sacrifice protecting the citizens of Quincy in 1927. We gather here almost a century later to recognize the sacrifice that Officer Hollis made for the citizens of Quincy and the sacrifice that the Hollis family made for the citizens of Quincy. Officer Hollis left a wife and three young girls that had to raise themselves and find a way, and we're thankful for their sacrifice. I'd also like to thank the officers of the Quincy Police Department for coming today to honor this man, and his service is long overdue. I'd also like to point out, it was interesting when I read the story from Mr. Miller about how he found the grave and how his daughter found the grave. Every year we put Quincy Police flags on all of the graves for the fallen officers. And it was interesting that that's how they recognized the grave and finally found the grave that led us to this day. What also is interesting is we have a gentleman in the crowd, Jamie McAvoy. Jamie McAvoy is one of our civilian dispatchers who's been with the department over 40 years. Every year he makes it his mission to go around and put a flag at the gravesite of every Quincy police officer that's passed away. So I'd like to thank Jamie, who's also here today. So on behalf of the Quincy Police Department, thank you for allowing us to do this today for the family and for the citizens of Quincy. Also, it's kind of fitting because the Quincy Police has not lost very many officers, thankfully. But when we do lose an officer, it means an awful lot to all of our family. We're all family and friends. And to the officers today, I'd like to just point out that even back almost 100 years ago, a century ago, the police department, policing in general, is very, very dangerous profession. So be safe and God bless. Thank you.
Hollis was 32 years old when he was killed and had only been on the job for 1 year. He left behind a wife and 3 young daughters. Members of Hollis's extended family did attend Saturday's service. That is our check of news. Coming up, we sit down with Claudio Sala of the Torrey de Passeri Club here in Quincy. And that's next. Welcome back. The Torrey de Passeri Club, and I'll be corrected on that in a moment as to how to pronounce it, is 100 years old, believe it or not, just this past weekend. But a lot of folks in Quincy maybe only associate it with bocce, especially during the Quincy Senior Olympics. Claudio Sala is here to tell us the real story. Claudio, great to see you. Great to meet you, first of all.
Nice meeting you.
Yeah, appreciate the opportunity to learn about the club. How do you pronounce it?
Torre de Passeri.
Okay, so you have to roll your R, first of all.
I guess if you're...
Torre de Passeri.
Passeri, yeah.
Passeri.
Yeah.
Which is actually a town in Italy that the club was named after, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
Most of the founding members, if not all of the founding members, were from the town of Torre de Passeri. So I guess that's how the club got its name.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about how, I mean, I know you're not an original member, certainly, or have not been a member for all that long, but a little history about how it started.
I have been a member for quite a while, probably since I was 18.
Have you really?
I am one of the young guys. No, we were the young guys. Now we're the old guys.
Right.
But I guess it did start in 22, and back then they didn't have social programs, so a lot of the Italian immigrants were laborers, and they probably built that wall at the stadium that they're repairing now. So if some got hurt on the job, they had no way of supporting their families. And, you know, the men got together, and mostly the immigrants from Quincy Point, I think they were all from the Quincy Point area, and probably all originally from Torrey. They got together and created the Mutual Benefit Society to help some of their neighbors that were hurt, either in the hospital, couldn't work, or had died from injuries sustained, and they would help the family.
I see.
And funeral costs. And that practice continues today, although it's more of a token.
Yes.
Back then, $250 went a long way.
Sure.
It probably paid for the funeral, but today it's more of a token thing. But we're still active. We still do the same things. They, you know, help the old guys, and we do have the social club, which is more like a regular social club, the Elks or anyone like that, and the members can come in and, you know, and play cards on Friday night, or we do have the Bocce League in the summer, very
Yes.
popular. In the winter or Sunday afternoons, watch all the football games, you know, have a drink with your friends. And
Yeah.
so that's how everyone sticks together, and it's nice.
It's located on Washington Street.
On Washington
Quincy
Street.
Point. Has it always been there, do you know?
I think they have. They bought it as a home. I think.
Okay.
But it was a home, and then it eventually evolved into a two-story structure. Had additions over the years.
Sure, yeah.
And I do believe we've been there since.
So the society itself is a fraternal organization, right?
It's a mutual benefit.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a fraternal. It's not a corporation. It's sort of organized by at the time the Department of Insurance.
Oh,
And I assume that department still exists, but so we have the bylaws through them. The social club is a corporation.
I see.
The social club owns the building and things, but so it's just a mutual benefit society. So basically the charter dictates what the benefits are and who gets them.
Yes.
And who to join, and you don't get annual benefit from it, or it's
No,
only
right.
if you are sick or if you die or for some reason if it's dissolved.
Sure. How many members would you say now, even just roughly, of this?
I think as of now we have about 68.
Okay. Has that gone up or down?
It's gone way down.
gone down, yeah.
When I first joined, I think we had close to 150, maybe 200.
Really? Wow.
In its heyday, I'm sure there were more.
Yeah.
But people get busy and lives get hectic.
Sure.
And it's tough.
But you're still in existence 100 years
we're
later.
still there,
Yeah.
yeah.
How did the party go at the Sons of Italy on Saturday night?
Went off pretty well.
Yeah.
Not many hitches. It was nice. We got together. The Speaker of the House came by. The Mayor came by. They all issued citations.
Very nice.
Actually, the Speaker's grandfather is one of the founding members.
Oh.
So, and he's a local boy from Quincy.
Well, certainly,
so-
yes. Yeah.
But yeah, we filled the room, the Sons of Italy. It's interesting. I got calls from people from everywhere that they saw it in the Quincy Sun and wanted to buy tickets. You know,
Yes.
they remember going to the club for weddings and other occasions. We had a hall upstairs at one time,
Okay.
and my father used to play cards there all the time in the Bocce League, so they all bought tickets. So.
Yeah. So 18 years old when you got involved.
I might have been 16, but I think I was 18.
Really?
Yeah, my father signed me up.
I see. Okay. What was your first impression
I was always there,
with the family?
I knew all the guys.
Yeah.
So he was a member, so we'd go down and, I'd hang around and hear the old stories.
Yep.
So I knew all the guys. But yes, I really didn't start going until my kids were older. But, I did. And now they've got me as a trustee and, but
And a person to come on TV and talk about it.
right, everyone else chickened out. It's interesting, but yeah, I didn't even play bocce until probably 15 years ago.
I was just going to ask
And
you
I'm-
how your bocce
and-
game is.
And I'm kicking myself for not doing it.
Is that right?
But being young and dumb, didn't know any better. I had
Right.
better things to do than hang out with the old man.
Yeah.
But
Obviously, you must
Very nice.
enjoy it, though. I mean, if you're still active and now in the governing body of the society, you must enjoy
Right.
it.
Yeah, I mean, our oldest member is 97,
Wow.
and he's a direct descendant. So he's the son of one of the founders. We have 2 other members that are in their 90s. But most of the other, we have 3, our president and our treasurer passed away in the last few months. So, yeah, it's time to change, I guess.
Yeah. How are you doing that, Claudio? How are you kind of reaching out to try and get new members?
We really do not actively do that.
Okay.
It's word of mouth.
Okay.
And it's mostly 2nd, 3rd, 4th generation of current members. But I have seen some younger guys come in recently. So how they got involved, you have to be nominated.
You do?
by a
Okay. I
member.
was just going to ask you how to become a member.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm hoping we get more.
Right.
But yeah, the only issue with the society is I think you still need some Italian blood.
Okay. Somewhere down the line.
Somewhere down the line.
Okay.
It's thinning out.
Yeah.
I think I am the only Italian-born member to date.
So you were born in Italy?
I was.
Oh.
But I'm not from that area.
Okay.
Although my mother kind of was. But yeah, I'm from northern Italy.
Okay.
So I'm not, and I'm not even from the Point.
But you don't have to be.
But you don't have to be.
Yeah.
And the social club has no requirements.
No requirements?
No
Okay.
requirements.
So that's more open.
You can be nominated by a member, and yeah.
I see. Okay. So don't have to live in Quincy even to be a
No.
member of the social club? Okay.
No.
So there are 2 different kind of branches of the society?
They're
would
2
you say?
different bodies.
Okay.
Yeah, the society is this. That's how it started.
Yes.
And then obviously they made the social club, which is a legal Massachusetts corporation.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
does have corporation rights, and it can own property, so it owns the building.
Yep.
And it the license is through the social club and things like that.
Okay. Now, I mentioned you're well known for your bocce during the Senior Olympics, but is there bocce at other times of the year too?
We have a bocce league in the summer.
Oh, okay.
It runs pretty much all summer, and it's all the members. So it's on Wednesday nights,
Okay.
which is nice. It's always a highlight. Everyone shows up, and it gets pretty rowdy back there. We have 2 bocce courts in the backyard. I lost my train of thought.
Rowdy Italians? I can't believe that, Claudio. No.
Of course not. It was rowdier in the old days.
I bet, yeah. But are there prizes? Are there tournaments?
Not really.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
at the end of the year, we technically have a banquet, which we just go in and Sal cooks some fried food.
Okay, all right.
And maybe we'll get, like the first place team will maybe get $10.
Gotcha, okay.
But not. It's just
For fun.
the league and for fun and to get the old guys back out. And
Yep.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Well, it may be a way for you to get some younger members in too, who might not know what the heck bocce is.
Yes, we'll teach you.
Yeah.
I think, but like I said, the name Catalano fits right in.
My grandfather actually was an excellent bocce player. I have some of his trophies. He was in leagues in Roslindale. There was a league over there for many, many years,
Yeah.
and courts that were kind of tucked back in the woods that nobody knew about. I don't know if they're still there or not. But yeah, I'll give it a shot sometime.
Yeah, feel free.
You were telling me before the show there was actually another club in Quincy that had a bocce tournament in South Quincy?
I think the South Quincy Bocce Club on Liberty Street.
Okay.
And they still exist, I believe. And we used to, at some point, it ended, but we used to have one game at each club
All right.
every summer. I don't know how that ended up ending, but I do believe the South Quincy Bocce Club is still there.
Interesting.
And there was another one in a little building on Liberty Street next to, I guess, what is now the plumbing supply.
Okay.
A
Yep.
little building's still there, but I don't see the bocce court.
Interesting. Well, there was a big Italian population in that part of the city at one
Yes.
point. We were trying to think of the name of the block, and I thought of it. It was Malnardi's Block
Oh,
in South Quincy, where they used to have the South Quincy Italian Festival every year. That is also since gone away.
Yep.
But a lot of the immigrants, and probably in the club today, worked in the granite industry and then in the shipyard.
yes. Yeah. And
So those are also both have gone away, unfortunately.
They've gone, yeah.
So what are your members today doing in terms of professions?
Most of them are retired.
Okay, yeah.
No, sort of everywhere. We do have a lot of City of Quincy employees.
Oh, do you?
We had a lot of former City of Quincy employees, but everyone else is different industries, some professional, some plumbers and
I
electricians.
see,
and,
okay,
Yeah, it's all diversified.
yeah. And their family, I mean, are your kids interested at all in becoming members?
My son was,
Yeah.
and then he moved out Western Mass, so there goes that. He
Okay.
can't show up. Although I saw him Sunday, and he's thinking, well, you know what? Maybe.
Okay,
The only one, but yeah. But some of the members, they'll have kids, and we do occasionally get a young guy
okay.
coming in.
Are you aware of, or do you partner with any similar clubs in other parts of the state?
We do not. We have the Toys for Tots at Christmas time. which
Okay.
We worked with Cagney's on that.
Oh, yes, yes.
Recently.
Big success there for that, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we don't really have any other partner social clubs. There are not many.
Right, yeah.
And
There-
this-
You're right, especially when it comes to ethnic traditions. I'm familiar with, there is a Scottish group here in Quincy, I know. But other than that, yeah,
Yeah.
the population, I think, has changed so much in the city that a lot of those organizations also have changed with them. But you've managed to succeed and stay around. Yeah.
We have, yeah. And, yeah, other than the South Quincy Bocce Club, we really had no other official connections.
How about social media, Claudio? Do you reach out on social media
Oh
at all?
gosh, everything is on paper. I found a filing cabinet. I've started scanning things. But
Yeah.
No, everything's on paper.
Okay.
We still have to give them a check. I think our treasurer did set up a website. I don't know that he monitors it, but it is. I think it's Torre de Pas City, and it was Weebly.com thing.
Oh, okay, yep.
So if someone wants to find it, I hope he monitors it.
Okay.
I don't know that he does, but no, we're old-fashioned. I don't even have Facebook.
Right.
I get yelled at.
Okay. Talk about the governing structure, if you can, how it's actually made up. There is a president, there's a treasurer, there's a board.
Yes, there's a president, vice president, treasurer, financial secretary,
Okay.
recording secretary, trustees. I believe there are 3. I am one of the trustees.
Okay.
And then we have some master of ceremonies and a guard.
Okay.
A few other positions, a chaplain. And they're elected. We have annual meeting.
Okay.
Just as any corporation would have.
Sure.
And elections of officers.
Okay. And are there regular meetings that a member has to attend? You know, what are the responsibilities once you become a member?
There is monthly meetings.
Okay.
Which updates everything. This is the first Sunday of every month. And then the annual meeting, which is the election of officers meeting. That is the only required meeting. The others are all voluntary.
I see.
And
Okay.
there is a fine for not showing up
Oh, okay.
at the annual meeting. But yeah, that's it.
Now, if someone, Claudio, who may be in need, wants to reach out to the society for assistance, how does that connection happen?
I'm not sure we are allowed to do that.
I
We
see.
did have pre-COVID. We did have a scholarship fund
Yes.
for our local high school kids.
Okay.
COVID hit us quite hard, like everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure of the status of that. But our charter does not allow us to give money to. We can donate to charities, 501(c)(3).
C3? Yeah. Okay.
But I don't think we can give benefits to private individuals.
Interesting. Okay. So that's really changed from the original mission.
Well, no. The original mission was to help members.
Yeah, okay.
So if you're
So
a
it has
member,
to be a member,
yes,
okay.
you can receive a sick benefit and a death benefit.
Okay. Okay.
But we cannot do that for anyone not members.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah, unless it's a charity, we can obviously help
Choose
charities.
to make a donation. Yeah. Okay. Anything else we should let folks know about right now?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
if anyone's interested, a lot of the guys do play in a golf league, so
Oh.
there is golf there, and the bowling league in the winter. Very big. It's not ours. They partner with other people, but that's a big one.
Adel Indies?
They,
they
yes, they
travel
do
it?
play at Olindy's.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And I'm not sure who sets that up.
Okay.
It used to be combined with the fire department, but now I think it's changed. And I don't bowl, so not quite sure. But
Okay.
yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Unless you have
So-
any other questions.
So we'll reach out to you, right? We've been showing your email during our conversation,
yes,
so
yeah.
folks
I
can
mean,
reach
if
out to
anyone's
you.
interested, I can always answer questions.
Okay.
If anyone's interested in joining, yeah, we can find a nomination and
All right.
get you in.
I wish you a happy another 100 years.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity to talk to you, and hopefully we helped make some folks aware of the society.
All right.
Torre de Passare.
Torre dei Passeri. Yes.
All right. I'm going to try and do my Italian heritage proud, Claudio. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just enough time to recap the forecast for you for the rest of the day today. Kind of what you see is what you get out there. It'll be increasingly cloudy and increasingly windy and not warm at all. Only in the mid-50s with a bit of a wind chill, believe it or not. We throw some rain into that tomorrow, Wednesday as well, but turning the corner on Thursday with some sunshine returning and a high near 70 degrees. Thanks again to Claudio Sala for joining us today from the Torre de Passare Club. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Friday here in the show, by the way, members of the Quincy Art Association will stop by. Meantime, check out our website anytime, qatv.org. All of our latest programs are there, news and information, video on demand, live streaming, and a whole lot more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great week.